Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Sri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Sri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Sri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate गोपेश गोपीकांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदानेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिय। बोलो श्री राधे गोलोकानंद भगवान की जय।
जय।
हरे कृष्णा एवरीवन।
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, everyone.
And happy Navratri. This Navratri is in progress, starting till next Wednesday. And so those beautiful days, you know, pure devotional days. I think we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and that's really wonderful. Yeah. So कल हम लोग 22nd श्लोक पढ़ रहे थे. Started Canto 3, अध्याय 1. Yeah. तो इसमें महात्मा विदुर के बारे में बताया जा रहा है. And we are going to get to Mahatma Vidur and Maitreya Muni conversation. Right? There is a lot of learning from that conversation. उसके पहले सुखदेव गोस्वामी जी परीक्षित महाराज को बता रहे हैं कि how Mahatma Vidur started from Hastinapur, and then on the way he was doing all the pilgrimage, right? And river Saraswati, and there has been a lot of discovery about the Saraswati river, right? In the northwestern part of India. Saraswati river also is supposed to be, right, where the first civilization started and so on and so forth, right? But so that's where Mahatma Vidur, you know, he was on the bank of the river Saraswati, and then there were so many pilgrimage which he was visiting and performing all the rituals. Yeah. अन्यानि चेह द्विज देव देवे है कृतानि नानायतनानि विष्णो है ततंग मुख्यांग कित मंदिरानि यत दर्शनात् कृष्ण मनुस्मरन्ति. Shiva?
There were also many other temples of various forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, established by great sages and demigods. These temples were marked with the chief emblems of the Lord, and they reminded one always of the original personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna.
Krishna,
Hare
right? So
Krishna.
Vidur Mahatma, thank you, sir. Vidur Mahatma visit कर रहे हैं, right? And he's visiting all the temples of various forms of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. Yeah. नानायतनानि विष्णु है. Yeah. And किसने बसाए हैं वो टेम्पल? द्विज देव and देवे है. द्विज देव is all the ऋषि मुनि, and देवे है, right? All the देवतास. उन्होंने भगवान विष्णु के मंदिर उस वक्त के बनाए हुए हैं, and those are the temples which Mahatma Vidur is visiting. Actually, nice purport. I think let's read this. Shivam, continue, please.
Human society is divided into 4 social orders of life and 4 spiritual divisions, applying to each and every individual person. The system is called Varna Srama Dharma and has already been discussed in many places in this great literature. The sages or persons who completely devoted themselves to the supreme spiritual uplift of the entire human society were known as Dvija Deva, the best amongst the twice born. The denizens of superior planets from the moon planet and upwards were known as Devas. Both the Dvija Devas and the Devas always established temples of Lord Vishnu in his various forms, such as Govinda, Madhu, Sudana, Nrsimha, Madhav, Keshav, Narayan, Padmanabha, Partha, Sarathi, and many others. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Right? So, it's mentioning like, some of the important aspects is spiritual upliftment of the entire human society were known as Dvij Dev. We know Dvij Dev, right? Twice born. You know what that means, right? I think once we like, so you're born once, and then when you put all the Janevus and all that, that's one way. It's called Dvij Dev, right? Twice born. And Devatas, of course, we know. But what is being mentioned is superior planets, right? We know, like from the moon planet and upwards are known as Devas. Yeah. And then let's continue reading this, Tarun.
The Lord expands himself in innumerable forms, but all of them are non-different from one another. Lord Vishnu has 4 hands, and each hand holds a particular item, either a conch shell, wheel, club, or lotus flower. Of these 4 emblems, the chakra or wheel is the chief. Lord Krishna, being the original Vishnu form, has only one emblem, namely the wheel, and therefore he is sometimes called the Chakri. The Lord's chakra is a symbol of the power by which the Lord controls the whole manifestation. The tops of Vishnu temples are marked with the symbol of the wheel so that people may have the chance to see the symbol from a very long distance, at once remember Lord Krishna. The purpose of building very high temples is to give people a chance to see them from a distant place. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Ajay?
So this system is carried out in India whenever a new temple is constructed, and it appears that it's coming down from the time before recorded history. The foolish propaganda by atheists that temples were constructed only in later days is refuted here, because Vidura visited these temples at least 5,000 years ago, and the temples of Vishnu were in existence long before Vidura visited them. The great sages and demigods never established statues of men or demigods, but they established temples of Vishnu for the benefit of common men, to raise them to the platform of God consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So the important is the temples existed even before 5,000 years ago and all that. Yeah. Ravi?
Yes. ततस्तद्वजित वज्रय सुराष्ट्रमृदः सौवीरमत्स्यान उरुजाङ्गललाञ्च्य लालेन वातावद्यमनु मुनामुपेत्य तत्रोध्वजध्वं भागवतं ददर्श. Thereafter he passed through very wealthy provinces like Surat, Sauvira, and Matsya, and through Western India known as Kuru Jangala. At last he reached the bank of Yamuna, where he happened to meet Uddhava, the great devotee of Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Right. So Mahatma Vidur continues his pilgrimage, right? And then he reaches Yamuna Mupetya, right? So Yamuna river, and where he sees Uddhavji. Yeah. Tatrodhvam Bhagavatam Darsham. Bhagavatam, right? Because Uddhavji is, of course, the great devotee of Lord Sri Krishna. Actually, this is also a very nice purport. I think we should read. Let's read this, Shivam.
The tract of land comprising of about 100 square miles from the modern Delhi to the Mathura district in Uttar Pradesh, including a portion of the Gurgaon district in Punjab, East India, is considered to be the topmost place of pilgrimage in all of India. This land is sacred because Lord Krishna traveled through it many times. From the very beginning of his appearance, he was at Mathura in the house of his maternal uncle Kamsa, and he was reared by his foster father Maharaj Nanda at Vrindavan. There are still many devotees of the Lord lingering there in ecstasy in search of Krishna and his childhood associates, the gopis. It is not that such devotees meet Krishna face to face in that tract of land, but a devotee eagerly searching after Krishna is as good as his seeing him personally. How this is so cannot be explained, but it is factually realized by those who are pure devotees of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, right? So the important fact is, in the Vrindavan, the devotees who are searching, they are the ones who have factually realized this, and they only can explain that. But let's Sachin.
Philosophically, one can understand that Lord Krishna and his remembrance are on the absolute plane, and that the very idea of searching for him at Vrindavana is pure God consciousness. It gives more pleasure to the devotee than seeing him face to face. Such devotees of the Lord see him face to face at every moment, as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita 5.38. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santah Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yama Shama Sundaram Achintya Guna Swarupam Govindam Adi Purusham Tama Aham Bhajami. Those who are in the ecstasy of love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shama Sundara, that is Krishna, see him always in their hearts due to love and devotional service rendered to the Lord. Both Vidura and Uddhava were such elevated devotees, and therefore they both came to the bank of Yamuna to meet each other. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. So those who are devotees, right, always see in hearts Supreme Personality of Godhead with a Sham Sundar form, right? Sumit, Shivam Sumit there?
No, he's not here.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Rinaji?
So Vasudevanucharam Prashantam Brihaspate Prakthanayam Pratitam Alinga Gadham Pranayena Bhadram Swanama Prichad Bhagavad Prajanam. Then, due to his great love and feeling, Vidur embraced him, Uddhav, who was a constant companion of Lord Krishna and formerly a great student of Brihaspati. Vidur then asked him for news of the family of Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, right? So at the Yamuna river, Mahatma Vidur meets Uddhavji. Yeah, and we all know Uddhavji, right? And Uddhavji के बारे में क्या लिखा हुआ है? Vasudev Anucharam Prashantam. Yeah, constant companion of Lord Sri Krishna, as we know, and formerly a great student of Brihaspati. Yeah, Brihaspati Prak Taniyam Pratidam. So two great personalities, right? Vidur, Mahatma Vidur, and Uddhavji. Tarun?
Kachita Puranao Purusau Swanabhya Padma Nuvratyeha Kila Vrattanau Asata Urvyaha Kusalam Vidyaye Krata Kusanau Kusulam Shurgehe. Please tell me whether the original personalities of Godhead, who incarnated themselves at the request of Brahma, who is born out of the lotus flower from the Lord, and who have increased the prosperity of the world by elevating everyone, are doing well in the house of Surasena. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So who is asking whom? And this
Vidur is asking to Uddhav
Uddhavji,
about,
right?
yes,
About Lord Sri Krishna. Yeah. And Balram, like Purusho, Purusho here refers to Lord Sri Krishna and Balaram. So when they meet, Mahatma Viduri is asking Uddhavji, how are they doing? Yeah, that's how the conversation starts. And let's just read the 4 lines here, Shivam.
Lord Krishna and Balaram are not two different personalities of Godhead. God is one without a second, but he expands himself in many forms without their being separate from one another. They are all plenary expansions. The immediate expansion of Lord Krishna is Baldev, and Brahma, born from the lotus flower of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, is an expansion of Baldev. Hare Krishna.
Lord Krishna, right? So God is always one, we know that, and everything is expansion. Everything else is expansion. Yeah. Ajay?
Kachit kurunam parmas suhino bhamam sa aste sukhmagam shaurih yo vaisva srina pitri vaddati varan vadanyo vart vartapranena. Please tell me whether the best friend of the Kurus, our brother-in-law Vasudeva is doing well. He is very munificent. He is like father to his sisters and he is always pleasing to his wives. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Right? So you're asking about Vasudeva. Rinaji?
कच्चिद्वरुथाधिपतिर्यदूनां प्रद्युम्न आस्ते सुखमंगवीरः यं रुक्मिणी भगवतोऽभिलेभे आराध्य विप्रान् स्मरमादि सर्गे. O Uddhav, please tell me, how is Pradyumna, the commander-in-chief of the Yadus, who was cupid in a former life? Rukmini bore him as her son from Lord Krishna by the grace of Brahmanas, whom she pleased. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, right? So Vidur Mahatma is asking one by one about Lord Sri Krishna and now about Pradyumna, who is the commander-in-chief of Yadus, right? Oh. Tarun? Tarun, you are good.
Sorry, my apologies. Kachita Sukham Satvata Vrishni Bhoja Dasarakasadam Adhipe Sa Asyate Yam Abhyasinka Satapatra Netro Nuprastanasham Parihirata Hridaya Durataha. O my friend, tell me whether Ugrasena, the king of the Sattvatas, Vrishnis, Bhojas, and Dasarahas, is now doing well. He went far away from his kingdom, leaving aside all hopes of his royal throne. But Lord Krishna again installed him. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Right? So again, Mahatma Viduri asking about King Ugrasen. Hare Krishna, Rasiksham Prabhuji, पढ़ेंगे आप? आपकी आवाज बराबर नहीं आ रही है शिक्षा। आर यू गेटिंग एको?
आवाज नहीं आ रहा है?
हाँ अभी आ रही है।
कज्जिद्वरे सौम्य सूतः सुदृक्षः अस्ते अग्नि रथिनां साधु सांबः असुत य जामवन्ति and now he has been born in the womb of Jamanti to his Krishna.
Hey Krishna, I think probably आपका थोड़ा बीच में disconnect रहा था, but that's fine. So does Samba, right? Samba is failing well too. So Samba is resembles the son of the personality of Godhead. In the previous birth, he was born as Kartikeya. Right? We know Kartikeya, right? Lord Kartikeya in the womb of life of the Lord Shiva and Parvati. Yeah, and this time born in the womb of Jamvati, the most enriched wife of Lord Sri Krishna in this age, right? And a nice description here. Let's just read this, Shiva.
Lord Shiva, one of the three qualitative incarnations of the personality of Godhead, is the plenary expansion of the Lord. Kartikeya, born of him, is on the level of Pradyuman, another son of Lord Krishna. When Lord Shri Krishna descends into the material world, all his plenary portions also appear with him to exhibit different functions of the Lord. But for the pastimes of Vrindavan, all functions are performed by the Lord's different plenary expansions. Vasudev is a plenary expansion of Narayana. When the Lord appeared as Vasudev before Devaki and Vasudev, he appeared in his capacity as Narayan. Similarly, all the demigods of heavenly kingdom appeared as associates of the Lord in the forms of Pradyuman, Sambha, Uddhav, etc. It is learned here that Kamdev appeared as Pradyuman, Kartikeya as Samdev, and one of the Vasus as Uddhav. All of them served in their different capacities in order to enrich the pastimes of Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, right? So what it mentions you like all when Lord Krishna appears, right? All the devotees and very close devotees also come together, right? And then it shows like how in previous birth who is what. Yeah, some good understanding here. Reenaji?
क्षेमं स कच्चिद् युधान आस्ते यह फाल्गुना लब्ध अधनुरहस्य लेभे अंजन साधु अक्षज सेवयैव गतिं तदीयां यतिर्भिः दुरापाम्. O Uddhav, does Yuyudhan fare well? He learned the intricacies of the military art from Arjun and attained the transcendental destination, which is very difficult to reach even for great renouncers. Hare Krishna.
The transcendental destination, right? And think let's just let's read this purport. I think we'll just read this much and then we'll so read Ravi. Ravi, unmute.
The destination of transcendental is to become the personal associate of the personality of Godhead, who is known as Adhokshaja. He who is belonged to the rich reach of the senses. The renouncers of the world, sannyasis, give up all the worldly connections, namely family, wife, children, friends, home, wealth, everything, to attain the transcendental bliss of Brahman happiness. But Adhodakshaja happiness is beyond Brahmanan happiness. The empire philosopher enjoy a transcendental quality of bliss by philosophical speculation on the supreme truth, but beyond the pleasure is the pleasure enjoyed by the Brahman in his eternal form of the personality Godhead. Brahman bliss is enjoyed by living entities after the liberalization from the material bondage. Hare Krishna.
So it actually describes what the Brahma bliss is. So I think we are going to pause here since we only have 3 minutes. We are going to pause It's Thursday, right? So all of us have a long weekend, nice weekend. I'll see you back on Monday, and we'll understand this, more important, more detailed, right? It says like Vidhalni, potency. It describes the spiritual potential as well. And meanwhile, since it's Navratri, I think we are going to continue listening to and do the Vaishnav Devi Darshan. Yeah. So, and this was a live darshan on April 13. I will do that, and then have a weekend, nice weekend, and then we'll see you on Monday. Okay. Any comments before we start? Yeah. So let's hear the Durga Stuti, Vaishnav Devi Stuti.
Siddha Vidyadharanam Munidhana Javaranam Vyadivihivanam Dripade Grihagatanam Dhatu Istaditanam Tvamasi Sharanameka Devi Durge Prabheda Shri Bhagavati Stotaram Jaya Bhagavati Devi Namo Varade Jaya Mapa Vinashini Bahu Varade Jaya Shambhani Shambhakapanadare Pranamami Devi Narati Hare Jaya Jaya